us to have another episode of One on One. My name is Titilayo, so it's great to have you here. Now, COP, the Conference of Parties, is the United Nations Climate Change Summit. Now, COP27 was historic because Egypt is the first African country to host this annual convening. And I decided it would be great for us to have a conversation on this today. Okay, so held from the 6th to the 18th of November 2022, COP27 gathered over 30,000 government officials, representatives of states, NGOs, private sector organizations, of course, the press, and indigenous people and members of the public to negotiate the future of climate actions. This gathering created a platform for key stakeholders to shape climate policies, including those on adaptation, mitigation, financing, and all related sectors focused on health, energy, food, agriculture, gender, youth, etc. In addition to this, this conference did not only work to amplify the voices of the most vulnerable, but created a space where their work could be seen and funded. Now, the Milken Institute and the Motsepe Foundation have launched the Milken Motsepe Prize in Green Energy, a $2 million prize competition to reward entrepreneurs and innovators working to address one of the most pressing immediate challenges of our time: access to green, renewable energy. The winning individual or team will be awarded $1 million with an additional $1 million dispersed throughout the competition as finalists progress and field test ideas. It's a lot of interesting questions we have for the team at the Milken Institute, and hopefully we'll get some of those answers right here, one-on-one with me. My name is Titilayo Onyinson. We'll be back after this. Thanks again for joining us. So this prize competition we're talking about, who better to have a conversation with than someone right there on the team? We have with us the Senior Director at the Milken Institute, Dr. Emily Musil Church. Let me take that again. The Senior Director at the Milken Institute, Dr. Emily Musil Church. Now, she's going to be sharing her insights on innovations coming from the continent that has the potential to change future outcomes. Emily is dedicated to harnessing tech and innovation to address global challenges for social good. It's really great to have you here, Emily. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Okay, then. I'm so interested in hearing all about the Milken Institute and what they're doing with this competition. As quickly as possible, maybe give us a little insight into how this all works.
Sure. Well, first of all, we are really pleased to partner with the Motsepe Foundation on the Milken Motsepe Innovation Prize program. So this is a multi-year initiative that's a series of different prizes, competitions, and programs that are dedicated to harnessing the power of technology to help accelerate progress towards the sustainable development goals. We launched last year in 2021, and we have entrepreneurs from over 105 countries around the world all signed up as part of the Milken Motsepe Prize community and thinking about how we can use this power of tech, of entrepreneurship, to make significant change in the world. Our first prize, which is currently ongoing, is in agritech. So we have entrepreneurs, currently 25 finalist teams in that first agritech prize, who are testing their agritech solutions across 16 African countries right now. We were very excited last week to launch our latest part of Milken Motsepe Prize, which is our green energy competition that you just mentioned. So this is free to join. If you go to milkenmotsepeprize.org, you can see right now on the screen /green energy, or if you just go to milkenmotsepeprize.org, you can sign up, you can learn more, become part of this community of entrepreneurs. What we are asking for is people from anywhere in the world. And this part is important. It doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. If you have the best idea to help solve this most critical issue of getting off-grid electricity from green sources, we want to hear from you. We are soliciting ideas from people from around the world. We will be providing training, networking, anything. If you're new to entrepreneurship, please join us. We want to hear your ideas and help build businesses to help solve and find new solutions to be able to get 60 kilowatt hours of off-grid energy.
Okay, 60 kilowatt hours. That's the equivalent of how large an energy boost is that? What could
So
that power, for instance?
great. Thank you for asking that, because we spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out exactly how much we wanted to ask entrepreneurs to build for. So if you think about something like a large household would, with lots of computers, refrigerators, lights, all those sorts of things, that's going to be about 20% of that. The idea why we wanted 60 kilowatts is we want to push people to go beyond an individual's access to electricity, which is very important. We do think it's very important. There are great companies out there that are getting off-grid electricity for light bulbs and things so students can read, and all sorts of benefits we know when people have access to electricity. The reason why we wanted to make it this high number is this is about starting sustainable businesses. So we want to say that even if people are off-grid, for example, if they're in rural areas, that they will have the opportunity to start significant businesses and sustain them beyond. This is not just about one household. This is a community or a larger business being able to work on green sources, off-grid electricity to power their businesses of the future.
So let's talk about trying to be a little more unconventional. So you're encouraging unconventional innovators and local, let's say, non-traditional voices to participate, because there are the usual suspects that will jump on board this kind of thing. But who are those others that are probably watching right now, listening right now, that you would like to give a voice to?
Great, thank you. So I've been working with entrepreneurs for about 10 years on these types of innovation competitions. And what we've seen over and over again is that often the people who are not necessarily the experts who you would expect to solve the problems, these unconventional thinkers or people who are new to entrepreneurship, are able to approach a problem in a new way. And it's one of the most exciting things about this type of work, that we're not looking at your profile, your resume. We're looking for what solutions work. So long before I was doing competitions, there's a history for hundreds of years back of people who have either industries that are outside of the problem you're trying to solve, or young people who are outperforming experts. So we can think about, sometimes you might be sitting there and maybe you're a high school student and you've thought, why isn't this problem solved yet? Why don't they just do such and such? Maybe that's been tried, but maybe it hasn't. You might have a new way to think about something, and we want to hear those ideas. If this could already be solved, it would already have been solved. So we want to say, who out there has an idea that can have a breakthrough? One of the things people think about is, am I trained in this one particular issue? Now, of course, we want to make sure that people are talking to engineers or people who understand some of the process here. But the way you approach the problem, your design, your business design, thinking about how to solve this problem, can come from anywhere. Sometimes it's our artists, it's our students, it's somebody who is in, we've had people who are candy makers or tattoo artists who are solving these engineering problems, and they partner with people to say, let's try it this way. And again, we've seen these breakthroughs. So if you're listening, or you know someone who you think might have a great idea, but they think, well, maybe they're not talking to me, we encourage you to join us, because we are talking to you.
The more unconventional, the better, I see. There are different types of talent found in different places, and especially in Africa. It does feel like collaborating with an organization based in Africa was also essential Talk to us about that.
Absolutely. So a big part of the Milken Institute Innovation Prize program is making sure that whatever innovations are created and tested will work on the continent. So this is why all of our competitions are tested somewhere in Africa. So right now, as I mentioned earlier, our agritech competition is happening across 16 different African countries. Now, many of our entrepreneurs are African citizens. We do have people from around the world. Because they have to test in Africa, it is essential for somebody to work with communities there to say, is this really going to work? When you're testing something, part of what you're judged upon is this going to be affordable? Is this going to be sustainable? Are you talking to the populations that you're trying to serve? So we've built in that while it is open to anyone, anywhere in the world to come up with these ideas, you must work collaboratively with people on the continent. If you're not from the continent yourself, you must work collaboratively in order to move forward in this competition.
Let's talk a bit about the stages of the competition and how exactly it's going to go. How are you going to? Because I know you're going to get thousands of entries. This kind of money doesn't just go unnoticed. So how exactly are you going to thin the chaff? Is that how they say it? Is that how they? We don't want to, because in the end, there's so many great ideas. Is there a list of judges? What's the process?
Okay. So right now, everybody can go and start to sign up if they want on milkenmotsepeprize.org. You have until March of 2023 to come up with what your idea is. So we have a specific outline of what you're going to have to submit to a panel of international independent judges. So it's not the Milken Institute, it's not the Motsepe Foundation. We get, for every competition, we get people from across sectors, from across different countries to look and be judges, expert judges for each competition. So the designs will be due in March 2023. From that round, by that spring, by next May, we are going to have 20 teams from those that are going to get $20,000 each to take their design ideas and turn it into a prototype. So those 20 teams will get 20,000 US dollars, and they can test wherever they are in the world. So if you don't happen to be in an African country, you can test wherever you are in the world. We will have a next round of judging after that, which is going to be September of 2023. So in 2023, they're going to submit again for this next round of judging. This is going to have down to 5 teams who will get an additional $70,000. So from this point, when you have this team with 70,000 additional dollars on top of the 20,000, at this point, they do need to test in Africa. So if they are not currently based on the continent, we need to make sure that those solutions, the green energy solutions, are going to work in Africa. So at that point, they will be testing in Africa. And those 5 teams are competing for the $1 million grand prize award, as well as a runner-up prize that's $250,000, $250,000 for the runner-up.
Okay, so
Now,
the numbers you're reeling off, they seem like large numbers, but when you get down to it, for something truly innovative, you have to really go all out. You have to,
yes,
get the raw material, get the human capital, get people to work with you. So, are you going to limit the size of these teams? How many members can a team have? And you know, can you partner with other teams? Can 2 teams work together? I'm trying to think about the sizes of these teams
yes.
right now. Talk to
So
us.
a team can be anything from an individual who has a great idea up to as many people as you want to work with. We are at the Milken Institute, where we operate our innovation competitions. We're a nonprofit organization. We're not here to be in business or to make money out of any of these competitions. We are here for other companies to be able to form and succeed. So part of our mission in this is to make companies, as what we call teams, but they really are companies, as successful as possible. We're not putting limits on how many people can be on your team, what you're specifically doing with that money, or any sort of limit to how you're sharing or cutting up the money. If you are the leader of your team, you are the CEO of your company, you make the decisions for your company. We trust you as an entrepreneur to have the best ideas what you need to do for your company to succeed. Throughout the process, as soon as somebody starts as part of our Milken Motsepe Prize community, we offer free resources that include things like webinars, training, interviews, or connections to other top entrepreneurs. As you move throughout the process that I just described, you move from a registrant to a semifinalist to a finalist. At each phase, we give more and more benefits. So, for example, in our agritech competition, our finalists recently completed a Stanford Online course that we offered for free for finalists with Global Innovation Catalyst. They had individual mentors. They had pitch sessions where they got feedback from investors. And part of our work at Milken Institute is to make sure that our teams, these companies, are having access to investors throughout the process to understand what stage of investment they really need, what they should be doing for their company to be able to scale, and then also just to be introduced to investors who are looking for these types of solutions.
Okay.
Our hope is that the grand prize is just one piece of it. For us, a winning solution is going to be invested in by far beyond this one competition. If we can prove that something works, then we can get these companies to scale. This is why we have such a long process. This is not rewarding people for what they've already done. This is saying, tell us what you're going to do, show us again in the African context, and then get all of the data that our investors need so that by the end, we've also de-risked that investment. So when people want to invest in our companies, they've been watching them for a year and a half. They've been getting to know them. They've seen what they're doing. So the idea here is to have them succeed and launch into a great future for both the entrepreneurs themselves and all the people who are looking for green sources of electricity.
Now, thank you so much for the breakdown and the explanation. And I have a feeling some people are jotting down notes right now. And this might be for you or your company. You've probably been working on something and you just didn't know there was someone that was willing to listen to you. It does seem like the Motsepe Prize might be listening in for your idea. Now, coming off of COP27, one of the conversations was about things that were deployable now, and not just deployable, but deployable at scale, especially in Africa. So things that could be dramatically expanded to given access, giving people, the ordinary people, access to electricity. Now, it does feel like a lot of the things off COP27 felt out of reach 5-10 years ago. That were discussed then or out of reach. But it does feel like climate change is hitting home a lot differently than we expected, especially in Africa. How are we finding deployable green energy solutions? How has it been going so far? What are the numbers? Has it been going well, or what are the major challenges we've been having?
So there certainly has been progress to finding access to electricity. The truth of the matter is, when you still have far more than 500 million people who don't have access to reliable energy, that cuts off people and their families and their broader communities from all sorts of metrics of success and health, whether it's education, physical health, economic opportunities. So while there has been progress, it's not happening fast enough. If COP taught us anything, it is the urgency of why we need to find solutions right now. And we need as many new ideas, we need as many people pushing for big, bold change right now. So that's what we really want to see, is the acceleration of this work. Part of our challenge statement is specifically saying we want this goal of dramatically expanding access to reliable electricity. And partly how we design this, first part of your question was about scalability. Because we framed this as a competition, we have our judges looking for different criteria when people are submitting their ideas. So, for example, a quarter of your criteria from judging is going to be the potential to scale your approach across the continent of Africa. So you're going to have to address that if you want to move forward. The affordability question you also mentioned, that's another quarter is going to be the potential to provide affordable and reliable electricity to areas that don't have access, especially rural areas. So we're designing in throughout these ideas of affordability and scalability, in addition to, of course, something that's actually going to be able to generate the right amount, 60 kilowatts of electricity from green energy sources. So we want to make sure something works. We're going to show it, test it in the field twice over. You can see there's a timeline up here. Thank you for putting that up. This is why we created this as an 18-month competition. We need the time to test it, but we need it to be accelerated enough that we can start to see these solutions and start to get them scaling quickly.
This is a huge project, spreading it over 2 years. What is it you hope, and I use that word gently, hope to have achieved at the end of this 18 months? Is it 18 months or is it a bit more? It's a bit more than 18 months.
The final award is going to be end of April or very early May of 2024. So we're in November 2022.
What do you hope to have achieved by then? This is so just to be realistic with your expectations here.
So we hope and expect that we are going to have at least one team that is able to really harness some of the new technologies we have available right now to generate this 60 plus, and I say plus because you asked what we hope for, if they can have even more of green energy sources, that would be our hope. Our hope is also that there is capacity building for multiple entrepreneurs and for multiple people who are working to use this power of technology, of entrepreneurship, to build new businesses for a better sustainable future. It's not just about the one winner. We're trying to support numerous people who are creating their companies. Even if they don't win the grand prize, we want them to be able to have new resources, new networks, new training to support them on their entrepreneurial journey. So the hope is at the end of the day, if we have another conversation in May 2024, we are celebrating how far our grand prize winner got. And we are being able to talk about all these other companies that were started and are finding other pathways to success, because we need as many minds as we can get to solving this issue.
Honestly, I actually can't wait to see some of the ideas that you come up with. Make sure you send over a few of them to, at least let us see how far the competition is going. Maybe give us a step-by-step breakdown. Always pop in. We'll always welcome you to give us little updates on how the competition is going. I have a feeling our minds are going to be blown by the amazing ideas that are going to pop up. And my hope is that the Milken Institute and Motsepe Prize will move on to other great ideas. Speaking of great ideas, there are so many other issues that were discussed at COP27 in Egypt: food security, water security, climate change and sustainability when it comes to more vulnerable communities. They were all part of the discussion. So is there anything coming up for water security? Is there anything coming up for food security? We're focusing on green energy right now. You've already done agri-tech. What comes next for the Milken Institute?
Well, stay tuned, because we are planning to launch a new Milken Motsepe Prize aligned to Sustainable Development Goals every year. So we just launched green energy. We will be launching our next one next year. in the meantime, Milken Institute has an innovation competition portfolio that addresses a lot of these issues and more, that are trying to really tackle these tough questions to say, where do we need new ideas, new infusions of capital, new companies forming? What piece of a big problem can we unstick by harnessing, crowdsourcing people's ideas, harnessing the power of technology, incentivizing entrepreneurs by offering a significant prize purse and support along the way? So our hope is you will hear many different competitions coming out of the Milken Institute and from the Milken Motsepe Prize every year, having one that will launch. Right now, please share this information with anyone you know who is passionate about green energy, who's interested in entrepreneurship, who you think could benefit, or who might just have that crazy idea that could change the world. Please send them our way.
Yes, do. And just so we know where to send them, just let me type out the website again. That is Milken Motsepe Prize. Let me type that out. Milken, right? Motsep. Okay, got it. All right, got you. Prize.org.
That's it.
I'm trying to make sure the spelling is perfect. Okay, ORG. So all you have to do is go to milkenmotsepeprize.org to see if you can be part of that. And we can't wait to see those amazing ideas. I have to say a big thank you to you, Emily, for joining us. For those that are just tuning in, let's give you a little insight into who Emily is. Now, she is Emily Musil Church. She PhD. She's dedicated to harnessing technology and innovation to address global challenges for social good. Now, global market development team partners with leaders in developing and emerging markets to develop innovative financing, as well as other strategies to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. We hear about this all the time, but we rarely get to meet people who specialize in entrepreneurship and prize competitions. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate the time on the show today.
Right then, hopefully we'll be getting some more insight into how I'm talking to you listening or watching out there, how you have started putting together your team and putting together your application. Just give us a comment or question in the comment section, either on LinkedIn or tweet at us on Twitter. Or indeed, if you'd like, you could just hit us up via email. That's dynamitepodcastnetwork@gmail.com. We'll see what we can do to help support you. Emily, thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Okay, then. Now, there's quite a bit to be said about climate change. And we've been talking about this for such a long time that it just feels like we should have started listening already. So let's give a little insight into COP. Now, the Conference of Parties, or COP, is the United Nations Climate Change Summit. And COP27 was historic because Egypt is the first African country to host this annual convening. Now, held from the 16th to the 18th of November, not just a few days ago it ended. COP27 gathered over 30,000 government officials, representatives of states, NGOs, private sector organizations, the press, of course, and indigenous people, as well as members of the public, to negotiate the future of climate actions. Now, this gathering created a platform for key stakeholders to shape climate policies, including those on adaptation, financing, mitigation, and so many other related sectors, focusing on food, energy, agriculture, and of course, health. Gender and youth was also thrown in there around the end, but the conference worked to amplify voices of the most vulnerable and created a space where their work could be seen and funded. So this is where the Milken Motsepe Prize comes in. And hopefully you heard a thing or two about it. If you didn't, just go back and rewatch it right there on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and click the link, click the bell, whichever it is you're watching or listening to right now. And maybe this might have been the message your team has been waiting for. My name once again is Titilaya Oyinsong. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, thanks for watching.